God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To start off tonight's meeting, we're going to break off into an executive session just for a little bit here to discuss a few things that we talked about in our work session just 2 weeks ago. So we will be back shortly. It's I have a motion that we reconvene our regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to reconvene.
I'll second.
Roll call: Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself. Aye. For the minutes. Sure. I did not have the opportunity to review the minutes because they weren't made available until today. So I think, should we just hold those to the next meeting that we can go back and...
Just table it for tonight.
Okay. I have a motion we table the minutes from the prior meetings.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Roll call: Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
myself. Aye.
Wait, what? Why?
They haven't been reviewed.
They have to be what?
They haven't been reviewed.
The financial report, you want to do that, Jackie?
The general fund ending balance at June 30th,
No.
$23,045.54. Special fund ending balance $57,069.42. State aid checking ending balance $426,965.23. Recreation checking ending balance $10,856.18. Fire tax checking ending balance $77,714.31. Sewer accounts ending balance in the general fund $422,228.50. Special fund ending balance $375,641.62. The bond account ending balance $579,695.71.
I make a motion to accept it.
I'll second that motion.
Roll call: Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself. Aye. And the bills to be paid.
Bills to be paid this month out of the general fund in township, $58,395.98. Fire tax account, $34.20. The recreation account, $98.32. The state aid fund, $272,794.44. Bills to be paid out of the general fund sewer account, $104,984.88.
Motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Roll call: Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself. Aye. Correspondence. We have no correspondence letters.
Kyle, we have Chris and Kate
Okay.
that they're here. They're a young couple that are trying to get started and doing websites and stuff. Instead of holding them for a long time,
Yeah.
they have a
Yeah. Is this in relation to like us having them doing a website for us? Okay. Yeah. If you guys want to speak,
Did you want us to approach or do?
you're fine there. If you just want to speak up so everybody can hear you.
Sure.
And you just state your name and stuff in your, if you have a business name or whatever, so they can.
Do you guys have copies? We had emailed it over maybe a week ago. We have extras if you need them.
I got it written.
Yeah? Anyone else need them?
Please. Thank you.
I got one right there. Okay, you guys are good.
Well, that was my beautiful wife, Kate, and I'm Christopher Miller, and together we own a business that we've called Cross Life Ventures. We dabble in communications, marketing, professional and personal development. We were approached saying that the township was looking at having a website made up. So my wife put together a proposal and sent it off to Jackie, I believe it was.
Yeah, so in the proposal, you'll see that there are 7, hello. There's a 7-page website that we're proposing with maybe a couple extra pages included. When I talked to Wayne on the phone, he had said that it would be nice on the website to have minutes, all the forms such as zoning forms and whatnot on there, all still hear me over the phone, right? Okay. Agendas for all the meetings on the website, a news page for like what's happening in the township, supervisors, contact information for each, maybe after hours police information, those types of things on the website. Obviously there would be about us page, services would be a lot of those things we just talked about, an events calendar for things going on in the township, and then like contact us on the page. We would do, this is a $750 proposal that includes buying a domain name, setting up hosting on the website, and then all the setup for each page. It would also include training, basic training for anybody who's going to actually manage the website. And if you wanted to have us do that too, that would be something separate, but it would include basic training for the website. And then analytics for the website, how many people visit the website, is it actually benefiting the township, things like that that you could track. And then SEO, which is search engine optimization. A lot of people pull out their phones and they will search for things. Chris has a great example of zoning.
Just last night, I typed into my phone, Wdwrd Township zoning, just to see what would come up. And the first thing that comes up is Wdwrd Township, Lycoming County. And if I wasn't reading that and I didn't see that, I would find the wrong information. That deals primarily with your SEO and your location settings. So if that would have been set up and indexed on Google's end, then it would have been coming back with the correct information based on my current location, which is Mill Street down in town. And it would have found the nearest Wdwrd Township, which is here, versus Lycoming County.
And so those types of searching results would be included in that 750 proposal there too. But other than that, it's a pretty basic kind of website, and we're open to questions, comments, or concerns about it.
And if you'd like to see any samples of any that we've done, please go to our personal website, crosslifeventures.com. Click on the portfolio, and you'll see examples. Off the top of my head, the Millbrook Playhouse, McConnell's in Waterville, Buckville Medical Center's new website. Any others there?
Heroes and Horses with Horses of Hope. We did their website, so if anyone saw that one. We'll leave some business cards in case anyone didn't get that. You know, they want to see the portfolio pages, we'll put them up here.
So it's just a one-time cost there, the
Yep.
$750, and then you guys maintain it?
Well, we'll teach you how to maintain it, so that includes basic training.
Okay.
If you want us to maintain it, that'll be a separate charge. But at least you guys will have complete control of the website, it's all yours. If you wanted us to maintain it, we would.
Right.
But just to get it going, to start it up.
A lot of different firms and companies prefer to like keep the site and to not give over the keys. We're more than happy. I mean, this is your site. We'll teach whoever's interested in maintaining it and updating it the keys and show you what to do and teach you how to do it.
Okay.
And then there is that second half, that if you don't want to do that, that's something else to talk about.
Okay. All right, well, we'll take a look at it and be in touch on it.
Is there any questions for anybody out there or recommendations or anything?
Or anything that you'd like to see on the website, we can add that to the proposal too. All right,
Thank you.
thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, see you.
All right, we're going to move to public comment. This is the opportunity if anybody has anything to ask questions about down primarily under old business this meeting. So we have no new business listed. So if anybody has any questions before we get into it, that would be the opportunity to try to reduce chatter while we're in those talking points. So if you have anything you want to ask, just raise your hand or speak up. Mike?
Kyle, I'd like to present a check for the helmet that was incorrectly purchased that didn't meet NFPA. So I'd like to present a check to the township so that it reimburses the fire tax.
Okay. Can you just like kind of give a little, maybe some of the people weren't here at the last meeting.
Yeah, when we asked to purchase helmets, we purchased a helmet that that was brought up. One of the residents in the township brought up that it wasn't NFPA compliant. I checked, it's OSHA, which we are an OSHA state So it does meet part of PA's, but it doesn't meet the NFPA, which is what the fire company asked. So that was no cost to the fire department. That was split by two individuals that cut checks to the fire department. And it's a wash through, the fire department cut the check, but they were reimbursed for it by two individuals. So we want to give the check to the township back to reimburse the fire tax for $700.
All right, thank you. Anybody else before we move on to our department reports? All right, sewer report, Mike, do you want to comment on anything? Just give a brief rundown.
Flows have been real low. The flow meter went down over the weekend at some point Saturday. It only recorded about half of what we sent to the city. So they can't come till Thursday.
Okay.
So I called the city and let them know that it was down, which they did notice. But they're okay with it because the flows are low, so it's not going to affect billing or anything like that.
Okay.
Not a
Everything
whole lot
else?
going on.
Operating then?
Everything, thank good, and
Yeah.
fixing some leaks on the roof, pump station, and,
Okay.
I mean, the road guys were out and sealed a couple of manholes up this end of last week.
Okay. All right. Move along to recreation report. We just recently had our duck derby raffle this year. We did not do Riverfest. We piggybacked off the fire company this year with their festival and sold our duck tickets over there. The intent was to raise money just to pay for the fireworks this year, put something on for the community. So we ended up selling 876 tickets, and after all the bills we paid out of that, I believe we may have lost about $10 on the whole deal. So that's kind of a blessing considering the circumstances we're operating under right now. It could have been a lot worse, but we had some people in the community step up and buy quite a few tickets, and we had a good fireworks show, and we still gave away $1,350. So I think we did fairly well this year considering the circumstances that we're presented with. Road report. I think since our last meeting, the guys had finished up mowing around the 4th of July. They were doing the rounds again with that. They've been out doing some cleanup work, burn stuff. Since our last meeting, the Pro Collar project has been finalized. I know they're fixing up a couple of the ditches out there, putting some things in. We had some open holes that we cleaned up. You guys have anything to add, Ruben?
Well, on that Crow Collar report, I think what we talked about was GPS
Right.
in the center of the road.
Yeah.
And I think there's two people that should be recognized for that project, because without them, that project wouldn't have went. And that's Katie De Silva and Cindy. They searched that one down for us, put a lot of work. Katie got the county to back it, and with 50 or 60 hours of work in it, it came through and nobody thought it would. So I think the one who needs recognition for that is those two.
Anything else from Road report?
Well, I don't know you want to know the road report, I guess the under roads. I talked to Mike today, when you get through the park, the 911 markings off the roads that you can't see. And I think we ought to redo them on how they were marked before.
Putting the stakes back in?
No, I said the
Paint
road
our-
markings.
the
Oh,
lines,
yeah, the lines on the road.
Yeah, yeah,
I
they're
heard
pretty faded out.
I'll stop down and read them all. Yeah.
Because I seen that in the paper where they said about a quick response
Yeah.
saved. And right now, there's no way of a quick response. Well, you'd see them, but
Yeah.
for the call-in, there's no 911 lot number or nothing.
Yeah, they're getting a little faded.
Don't
They're
put
about
them signs back in, there's too many of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, yeah, we'll refresh those up. All right, anything else for the report? All right. old business, the resolution for the tap-on fee, I think we're gonna table that again. We gotta gather some more information on that. There was discussion about going from 3,600 to 1,800. It's been almost a year now in discussion. We've gone back and forth about some things, but we need to clear something up before we make that decision. Policy and procedure manual, I think there's still some stuff in the works there that we need to.
Do we need a motion for you to do that, Bob?
You want a manual then?
I think where we left off before we got started with fire tax was our employees were reading over it and they were making notes on things that they wanted to either be added or questions or things like that. And honestly, we haven't sat down with them since then. So I think maybe we should work on trying
You
to
folks have
some-
one now?
It needs reviewed bad.
How old is it?
When Marion was here.
Hell, I may have drafted it.
But it definitely is reviewed.
I'll have to take a look at it.
Review.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah, so we should probably consider sitting down with everybody, because that's where we kind of left it back in November, December, that we were gonna, that's kind of where we stopped. Yeah. Okay. Part-time police officer position update, Steve?
Honestly, last meeting I had to run out on a call, and I have been in contact with a guy who brought this stuff in, that's been starting to do his background, but I was away on vacation and stuff for a week, and then did some other issues. Really just getting into starting it, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't here when the go-ahead was given
Yeah.
to go further, because I had to go out on a call. So I was kind of holding off a little bit, but I spoke to John a little bit earlier, then the last week, when I got back. He's available, he's already got his certifications, things like that, but I have to do a pretty good background out, and the governor just passed a new law outlining how they want backgrounds done, things like that.
Okay. So you'll get in touch with him then?
Yeah, I've been in touch with him, he's been in, I talked to him a little bit.
Yeah.
That he did bring in all his paperwork and everything like that.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
After the 70.
Okay, yeah, just at the end there. All right. Next thing is North Vista Drive repair. We're gonna start making some headway with that road there, some widening and resurfacing. So I think we're kind of the preliminary stuff there, but we're gonna try and attack that ourselves as much as possible.
Well, there's probably 300-400 ton of material that is basically the same stuff we was gonna put on the base.
Right.
I mean, it might take a little mixing and a couple of loads, but
Most of us pretty good, except that a couple others gonna be in the back of the
that'll save us pretty good pile of money.
Yeah. Okay. But I will keep the community updated on that. I know I bumped into a lady that was asking about when that road was gonna be looked at, and I said it's under discussion now, it's in the works, so.
Well, I think Terry said as soon as Randy's back and they get caught up with a couple of things, they're gonna start on.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, there are a couple things to do when Randy gets back.
So I would go for early August. It'll be a couple-week project.
The dry hydrant, the boat launch, Mike, do you have an update?
No. Norm's been busy, so him and I haven't met yet.
Okay. All right. Next thing is the reconnect fee ordinance, which I think maybe
That's the same as tap on.
okay, yeah, but so we already discussed the tap on, but we need to discuss the inspection fee, so let's call that one the inspection fee ordinance. So we talked at the last meeting about doing a $150 fee for when there's a transaction of a house changing hands, if there's an inspection that has to be required in the sewer, and we charge $150 for that. So I think Bobby's drafted the ordinance.
I think it's already been advertised, actually.
Okay, so we'll just address that next month.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
That'll include a resolution, right? So that if we up it later, we don't have to.
Yes.
do that.
For the fee, yeah.
Okay. Redmond's extended warranty, when we looked at that there, last month we had a couple issues with some units. Did you guys look at that and think of a package that you think is suitable?
Yeah, I think we should do it for the township. That's.
The one that was circled here was,
Get the warranty.
right, the one that was circled here in our documents was the gold package. It was $250, $249. Is that the one that we want to?
I would think
That
so.
seems like the best deal there. Okay.
You know, you get the place you were cleaning.
Yeah.
We're doing the farmer's thing too.
Yeah, it also includes the oil.
That should catch a lot of our
It
problems.
says all annual, all systems excluding oil.
When I talked to them on the phone, they said, they they didn't give a price. So I don't know if it was the circled one or not.
You know, the gold one for $249, it says monthly, or I'm sorry, annual, all systems excluding oil.
What's the one with, two services and oil? Is there one in there with regard to that?
There's an oil system annual investment, which I don't know if that one's $289. There's an oil system monthly investment for $25. I think that gold one for $249 is probably okay.
Yeah, and then they have them check that once a year. when
Yeah, I
they're-
was gonna say, that one needs once a year, or once every 2 years.
Do I have a motion that we purchase the gold package there for $249 for the annual system?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, roll call Wayne,
Aye.
John, and myself, aye. PMRS termination ordinance.
This is the final step to close out our pension with PMRS.
Okay.
We just need to approve the ordinance, plan it, and send it off, and all the money can be transferred to PSAS pension.
All right. Do I have a motion that we go ahead and terminate?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call Wayne,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and myself, aye. Pay raises. We had some discussion in our executive session about a pay raise that was given at our meeting last month. So there's discussion that we were paying $200 a month to Charlie Kluge to be basically a backup operator down here at our sewer station. And I had mentioned that I felt we should redistribute that money to one of our own employees that's actually capable and has done the work. We discussed at that meeting to do $2 an hour raise. And I believe we're going to make a change to that vote that we made and reduce it to the amount that matches the $200, so it's a wash to the township. So I have a motion that we adjust the rate so that the increase matches the $200.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call Wayne,
Aye.
John, and myself, aye. Communication policy, we have worked with Bobby and drafted some stuff up. Bobby's going to button up some things there with us, and we'll address that at a later time here. The COVID-19 procedures and policies, we reviewed some stuff at our work session 2 weeks ago, just standard procedure stuff with the virus things going on. Cindy, were you getting some information from the?
I sent the latest county one to Jeff.
Pardon?
It was emailed, the latest one, just Monday, I think. It was the update to it. I checked today, they didn't send anything back and said thank you, so it's on your email somewhere.
I'll have to review that.
Okay.
She has.
I mean, we've been following the guidelines. I mean, they've been putting it out there everywhere. I mean, doing our best with it, so.
What is the procedures for most of them if there's people that leave the state into a state that's shut down for us to come back? We're having a test.
As I say, we've got 2 out, we've got a test case. back to make sure.
Is that what everybody else is doing?
It's a recommendation, but there's a list of about 10 or 12 states that are on that list that if they go and they come back here, they're supposed to quarantine for 14 days.
Quarantine.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's a recommendation. So, I mean, we obviously followed it in 2 cases we had. They're similar situations, I should say. They weren't both identical situations, but they were similar.
They say that their homework on that.
Okay.
Our office has a 14-day quarantine.
I'm sorry?
Our office has a mandatory 14-day quarantine.
That's what you guys implemented? Yeah.
And you have to have 2 tests within a certain amount of days of each other that come back negative.
Okay. Yeah, I heard there's some false negatives and stuff that have been reported.
If you
But
go on
also an
the
incubation period.
Department of Health, there's a website, and there's a flow chart will tell you for each case and situation. I have it,
Okay.
that tells you what to do, whether it's a spouse, it's a, coworker, or what, depending on how they test, whether it's positive, negative, you just follow the flow chart.
Okay.
It tells you what to do.
Okay.
Grant County's the 14-day quarantine.
Yeah.
I just have to do that.
21 Wdwrd Road, that's the sewer house property. We haven't really been discussing much there. We're trying to work out another scenario that might dictate some things there in the future, so I don't know if we can speak too much on it yet until we know for certain. So we'll just kind of keep that on the back burner right now. There's no new business, so we will move to the floor. Start right here, Jim.
Something about the road we had discussed before,
Yeah.
about the yellow line
Mhm.
and Brewery Hollow. But
Yeah. You mean about putting the paint markings down to try and slow them down or whatever? Yeah.
is there an update on that?
I think we probably need to clear a couple things on that, just to be for certain, with maybe some PennDOT stuff. I know it's our road.
Whether it's legal to do it or
Right.
without.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the state did it on their road up here on Wdwrd Avenue. They have those markings up there at the top of Mill Hill, but before we do that, I think we need to confirm some things there with that. And I think that's our only effective way to try and do something there, other than just having a presence there. Because I know that we discussed about speed bumps, which I don't believe that's.
We probably should find out if we're gonna do Croak Hollow, the fog lines, get it all done at once when somebody comes in to do it.
Yeah.
Because I think we better put them lines on the road.
Yeah, I've had different people say something about those lines, those all around in there.
Yeah, I'm thinking Croak Hollow is a safety issue. It's Croak Hollow where
If we do that.
storm drains and the center line is definitely something that
Yeah, we got some drains to fix.
If we do paint Croak Hollow, we have to use double yellow line down there. I know in the past townships have done single yellow and you're not allowed to do that.
Can we do
That's what I used to say.
can we do the fog lines without
Without
the
the
center?
center line at all.
I'll check on that.
It would help just people driving at night and stuff.
Yeah, I would imagine
The road.
to
I
do
think
that.
fog lines are more important than the center.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, the road's
you
skinny.
put a center line down the road, people are still gonna drive down the middle of the road. It's just a habit on that road for years. It's so narrow. So, yeah.
We just had the fog lines.
If we just have fog lines.
Right.
Dustin Dillon,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
Call state,
The,
wants it. Is it
Brewery
ready?
Hollow, if we just do that section
Right.
with the diagonal lines and then sign it for pedestrian crossing
Right.
area.
That's up by the bike club.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right, we'll move back up front here for on the floor. Just come across the front. Jim, Lynn, Danny, Mike, Teresa.
From the floor.
Yeah, I didn't quite get what you said about the pay raise. is it a $200 a month fee she's getting in addition to her regular hourly rate or increase?
No, the increase will reflect the $200. So we did a calculation here, and we think we have a decent number that matches the $200, what it would equivalent to.
What would that be?
About $1.25 an hour.
So that makes it what?
Roughly $16.75.
$16.75?
That'd be roughly, that's after the regular match.
Any other questions with it? Okay. Cindy? Brenda? Randy?
Yes, I got the answer to that question I asked you back there.
Yeah.
How are you gonna save money for the sewer customers? I want you to explain to me how you're gonna do that.
Well, when we
When you
initially...
took this over, that was one of your things you said. You're gonna reduce the
Yeah,
rate.
absolutely. That was a long-term goal to reduce the sewer rates.
Oh, long-term?
Yeah.
You know how you're gonna do it.
Well, I know one good start, it would probably help and appease a lot of people in this township. That'd be selling that house. That'd be a good start.
That's, how much you gonna get out of that house?
I have no idea.
What are you gonna do after that, Calvin?
What's that?
What are you gonna do after that? Your price of your pumping over to the town that is over to the city is outrageous.
Well, that's because we gotta fix infiltration. It was never
Oh,
addressed.
come on.
Well, I'm just telling you the truth about it and the way it is. So we have film on clean water
You're
running to our
wrong.
sewer lines.
Ask Bob here. We had an inspector on that job and probably one of the better ones around. And you can't tell me that you have that much infiltration.
The numbers don't lie on the pump
Oh,
station,
yeah.
so
Yeah,
unless our
liar.
flow meter is not calibrated properly, but when we get 3 inches of rain in an hour
Yeah.
or two, our flow rates
Now,
trip.
you do have problems with manholes. I will say that. There's lots of manholes leaking.
Well, there's issues over
But
on
we
Cardinal
could never
Drive
get
as
the
well.
money to repair that.
Okay, well, they have video of issues on Cardinal Drive where there's water running in as well that need to be addressed. And now we're in a legal squabble over that.
I didn't doubt you are.
Because a company that you guys hired did an inspection on the lines and misreported it, and we hired out a company to come in and do the work, and they used the quotes that you got, that your I don't know what you want to call it, your group or whatever, that you guys got from a company, and it's incorrect. And now this township is in a legal dispute over it.
It worked. Why is there a dispute?
Because,
It worked for us.
because when you were on the board, you guys paid a company for a report on inspection, and it was incorrect. And the company that gave us a quote used the inspection report that the sewer authority paid
That's
for.
their fault, not ours. Don't
I'm
put
just saying,
that
you
on
guys,
somebody else.
all I'm saying is, the
No.
sewer authority at the time paid a company to give an inspection report. The report was incorrect.
They should have made their own report, not
Well,
using
that's-
somebody else.
That's what we're saying too, but I'm just telling you the issue that's going on on Cardinal Drive.
Don't be pushing it off on somebody else.
I didn't, I'm just telling you what happened.
Well, I'm telling
So
you.
I'm not telling you to take blame.
I'm telling
for
you,
it.
that's your fault, not theirs. That's
Yeah,
your fault.
there's never gonna be another bid go out that, if they don't inspect, they're not even gonna bid.
I mean, I think we have some ground to stand on. I mean, I don't think it was our job to, that was on them to figure out what it was. But that's what happened.
Well, you can't blame it on us.
I'm not blaming you at all. Just telling you what happened.
I have another question. Did you ever find the minutes of the March meeting?
No, there's been minutes done, but there's no tape recorder.
Steve, did they turn that into you, police department? Okay, tape recorder is missing?
They told me it was missing. Nobody said it was stolen, it was lost.
Lost, how did they get lost out of in the building?
I don't know. I didn't have control of it, so I can't tell you where it went.
Those minutes have to be kept forever.
Yeah, trust me, we're aware of that.
You can't lose minutes and just break it off. Those
I
minutes
think we had a
have,
clear discussion about that last month's meeting, actually.
oh, really? How did they disappear? I think we have a right to know how they disappeared.
I'm not gonna put our employee on stand in a public meeting, but that's between her and us. So,
Bobby, those minutes have to be kept. They never go away.
It's my understanding that there were some minutes that were generated from notes that were taken.
yeah, there's minutes that have been generated for it. The recording is nowhere. But we already,
But you have minutes.
we have minutes that were generated. There was corrections
Are
made.
they the correct minutes?
There was corrections made to them last month, and,
How can they be correct?
well, I often wonder that myself, but
Ah,
when there's no tape to back it up, and so that's my issue with it, but
I think there's a legal way to go on that. Through the Attorney General's office or somebody. Because those minutes have to be kept. They have to be available.
They are available.
Where are they?
Didn't you type them up from the last meeting?
yeah.
They were missing before, how come you found them?
Randy,
Randy,
Randy, you're confused.
What's that?
You're
Tape recorder was missing.
You want the minutes on that tape recorder?
But I also
The recorded
have
minutes.
the recorded
Huh?
minutes.
Mechanically
Yeah, handwritten
recorded.
She had her
notes.
handwritten notes that she
The
wrote.
tape is a backup.
Right,
Ah,
And the tape in
Yeah.
the tape and the tape recorder disappeared.
yeah,
but she has her
But
handwritten
she
notes.
has her handwritten notes, so she has minutes.
Right.
yeah, okay. That's all I have for now.
Bob?
Kyle, you wanna sell that sewer building? Why? That building was bought and paid for. If you wanna build on here, or you wanna do anything, you're gonna pay prevailing wage. On anything, block layers, electricians, plumbers, roofers, structural people. If you wanna build on here, so it's gonna cost you more to build on here than you're gonna get out of that sewer building. That's already bought and paid for. We were paying $900 a month plus half the cell phone bill, copier bill. What else were we paying, Randy?
Light bill,
Trash.
yeah.
Well, I'd say.
So it was costing us around $1,200 a month
Yeah,
out of the sewer customers.
right.
So we bought that over there. There was never any hell that we bought it. Then after we were over there and had meetings for 3-4 years, the only person that ever showed up 3/4 of the time was Dave Webb for our meeting.
Yeah. How many people were at that meeting when you guys made the decision to buy the house?
Quite a few,
There was?
yes.
When
There
you
were.
guys made the motion to buy that house?
Yes.
Your room was packed in there, because I was there. It was packed in there,
So there was probably 20 people in there.
standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, there's quite a few people.
1% of the
I had
township.
standing
Pardon?
1% of the township.
20 people in 1% of the township.
And
It's
how
less.
many, what's the percent of how many pay for sewage? What's the percentage?
There's
of it?
700 and,
What's the
54.
percentage? You said 1% was back there, what's the percentage of the people that use the sewer?
okay, well, you want me to pull my phone out and do 20-some people divided by 750 customers?
Well,
I mean, I'd gladly do that. Hold on a
Go
second.
ahead, I'm interested in.
Oh, yeah, we all have enough place to go.
I wish you guys would have came sooner, 2%.
okay, so we had half of what was needed to
You
prove.
had 2% of the sewer customers here at a meeting where you decided to buy a house. How, do you think that's justifiable?
Well, you think it was justifiable for the supervisors to charge us
Absolutely not.
$900 a month?
No, and I wasn't a supervisor at the time, and if I
Well, do you
would
think
have
that
been.
was right?
No, and I've said that before.
That's why we bought that house.
Excuse me, gentlemen, why are you exhuming the past?
He's asking questions and,
But that has nothing to do with what you have before you.
well, I mean, I don't speak on it.
Bobby, yes it does. It has that they want to sell that sewer office
It's
and
not
build
before
on
the
here.
board right now.
Huh?
I said, that's not a pending issue before the board.
It's gonna be.
Well, when it comes up, then you can address it, but it's not here
That's
tonight.
the way it works.
What if we sold the house for $140,000 or $150,000 and bought a $4,000 Amish shed to operate out of? Would you do
You're
it?
not gonna be able to get an Army shed because the Bureau of Labor and Industry has to be handicap accessible. You have to have your toilet facilities available. You have to have doors which are handicap accessible. And you're not gonna get no damn Army shed compatible that a Bureau of Labor Industry is gonna let you do it.
Do you realize there's businesses that do operate out of those sheds,
Well,
right?
but I think John and I already made that clear, didn't we, John? And as far as Kyle, as you wondered about 2% or 1%, I'm sure that that was out and known, just like everything else is. And here we got how many people?
Did you know that it was advertised?
Yes, it was.
Do you know that though?
I'm
You're
saying,
saying
I'm assuming and I'm sure it probably
Okay.
was, but look here. Look how many people out of the township you got when you're looking at percentage.
No wonder they don't come.
in my opinion, what I think should be done with the situation is put it on the ballot. It's the taxpayer's house. Put it on the ballot and let them decide whether they want it or they want it gone.
Well, not really, it was paid for by the sewer customers.
That's right. Why should people in Perrinsville and Swissdale that don't even pay on to it vote on it? Would you like to vote on something? Would you like to have somebody vote on something in your backyard that doesn't even live in Wdwrd Township? Because that's exactly what you're doing.
What I recommended to do is similar to what we did with the fire tax. We held some public meetings, let people come in, voice their opinions, give ideas, whatever, which is the proper way to do it.
There's only 750 people that is paying for that,
But
so.
why would you not want to involve the public with it?
Well, why do you need it? We're public, we don't use it.
People in Perrinsville don't use it.
Well,
Why are you gonna let them
Excuse me,
decide?
that's like saying because you pay, if you don't have kids, you shouldn't pay school taxes.
Oh, don't even bring that up now, you're talking.
I mean, well, no,
You're talking apples and
quite
oranges.
frankly, you're
No.
talking very much a parallel
No.
here because it's operated by the township, it's owned by the township, so it has to be considered as a integral part of the township.
Then you've got to let the people of Dunstable Township vote on it, because when it goes in through Woodhaven down there, there's only 2 homes on each side. When you first get up down Guard Lot, there are first 2 homes on one side and the other, or in Wdwrd Township. The other homes swing down and go up where Tom Kraus bought, and I guess Mike told me 2 lots were sold. Those people all belong to Dunstable Township. They should have a voice, because they're paying into the sewer.
Exactly, and my
Here's
point
where
is we
it
should
stands.
allow them to come into a public meeting, have like we did with the fire tax. Let people
Yeah.
come in, voice their concerns, and then give us some ideas.
But
It's their house.
Here's where it stands here right now. Until there's a viable option on the table, John and I already said, it doesn't go, right, John?
Yeah.
So until there's a
Nobody's
viable
forcing the
option,
issue right now,
it's
with the
done.
exception of them wanting to know what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And the only way to get to a solution is to let people be involved in the process. Why would we want to not involve people? We asked them to come in about the fire tax. So why would we not want to hear from these people?
We gotta come up with alternatives and not an Amish shed to present to the people.
Well, there's plenty of ideas. It doesn't not have to be a long drawn out process. There's some options. We can put them down, have a meeting, let people come in and talk. Maybe they have ideas. Maybe they can come up with some information that might be helpful to us. Why would you not want to hear from the people that are paying for it?
So
It's
you're
their investment.
when we have viable options on the table, then we'll do
But
that.
what if they have viable options
At
to
that point,
present to
we'll have
us?
2, just like we did with the fire tax, we'll listen. Because are you gonna entertain any and every idea that maybe somebody wants to build a bunker out back?
No, but I'm willing to listen to
Are you
them.
gonna entertain that?
No, but I'm willing to listen to them. Just because they say something, I don't have to agree with it, but I'm willing to listen to them. And I'm not about to cut somebody out of the mix on it.
It seems more responsible as supervisors to
That's
come
right.
up with 3 or 4 good, viable options.
I think maybe if we had that meeting and let people come in and talk, we could, maybe the 3 of us could figure out what the 3 or 4 viable options are out of that.
Could I say something about that? since I did go to the fire tax meeting, it would be really helpful in advance to show the public what the balance sheet is, to show what we need to do to get from A to B, and why selling that place gives us this windfall and what it's gonna do for us.
Right.
You know, people need to see numbers. They need to understand why financially we want to do it.
Well, in the first place, I'm not sure when we sell that place, if it can just go into the general fund.
They would have to go to the sewer funds,
That's right.
and that's where it should go, right into the sewer fund to pay for maintenance on these lines where we got all these problems that aren't getting taken care of, that are causing infiltration, which is in turn costing us more money.
Well,
But $142,000 isn't gonna go very far.
Not when you got a bond to pay.
It's,
Right.
I mean, bottom line,
I mean, one of our,
142,000 isn't gonna go.
our
That's
one
a drawing
project's
budget.
$66,000.
That's
I mean,
that's
it's-
what I'm saying.
But that's not a reason to not consider selling it.
Randy, what does it cost per foot on the average to put a sewer line if we had to expand?
What is
What's the
that?
cost per foot?
What's the average per foot to install sewer line?
What is the average per foot to install
We have an employee sitting here of our own that we could probably ask. I don't know why we're asking Randy.
$165 a foot.
Because Randy had been in it for 20 years, I don't know whether Mike's gonna come up with that answer real quick, are you, Mike?
I was gonna guess like 170 something a foot.
You have to respect institutional knowledge.
That's the last price I heard, anyhow. It's probably up a little more now. That's for your digging your ditch and the whole shoot.
And sometimes, Kyle, you wonder why we asked it, because there's years of knowledge sitting there that we can use.
That's fine, but I think maybe Mike should be asked the same question since he's our employee. Maybe he knows what's current. Randy hasn't done.
Look, but I could ask Mike this. Your last construction project, what was the price per foot? Yeah. And what's Mike gonna say? We know he hasn't done any construction on it.
I'm just saying, I think we should ask Mike that question as well. You know,
And he was asked.
I think we should move on.
Yep.
Mike, do you have anything? In the back, Michelle?
I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you for standing up for the people and allowing transparency and inviting them into these forums. All I see is the two of you pushing back and wanting to control everything and kind of going head to head with Kyle Coleman. I don't understand that.
I agree.
I mean, it should be for the people. It's about the people. It's not about you two. It's not about Mr. Coleman. That's all I have to say.
Jerry? Kevin?
Yeah, I just got a couple questions. With regards to the fire helmet reimbursement check, was that for the entire cost of the helmet?
Yes.
Okay.
It was $700.
Okay. Can I ask what that helmet's gonna be used for if it's not NFPA compliant?
Well, the individual that paid for it is the guy that it was bought for, so it's his helmet. I guess he'll do what he wants with it.
So when you say the individual that paid for it, did he pay the fire company and then the fire company reimbursed the township?
Wayne Love cut a check for $350 from his business, and Justin Baker cut $350, both payable to the fire company. The fire company cut the check, so as far as I'm concerned, the helmet is half owned by Wayne Love and Justin Baker.
I don't care what Justin does with it.
So
I don't
it's
care.
sitting over there, it's not being used.
Okay, so this leads me into what Trevor Reeder, the Wdwrd Township president, had asked before, is that before any of these purchases are made using fire tax money, there was, I think, a proposal or some discussion made to have a committee established of individuals with knowledge of fire equipment to review these purchases. Because I'd ask of the three supervisors, in all honesty, if the fire company would come to you with, just as we saw with the helmet purchase, in good faith, they made a proposal, said, hey, we want these fire helmets. There's some discussion. you didn't know whether they were NFPA compliant or not. I think these are questions that a committee, if it were established, would ask, and then either approve or disapprove. Has the board considered establishing a committee for the fire tax, or is it just you're gonna hand out money to the fire company? Because it's my understanding the fire tax was meant to purchase or apply to operational costs, in particular, the replacement of the 28-year-old rescue truck. I haven't heard any discussion on that since the resolution was made. And the resolution states, and even the state law states, that before any monies are given to the fire company, that they have to be approved. Last meeting, it was just real quick. And this is my opinion, I think Trevor, who's not here, would agree, is that the township, the board of supervisors, just without investigating the need for these helmets and their compliance with NFPA standards, they just approved the money.
How old were your helmets, Mike? How old were your helmets?
Well, the fire company, most of their helmets are 20-plus years old, and 3/4 of the guys bought their own helmets. So guys were walking around using their own helmets. That's why we come to you guys and ask to purchase new helmets, because NFPA says every 10 years.
And only the one, because you replaced a New Yorker,
Yeah.
it was the exact same model.
Yeah.
Nobody is saying don't buy equipment, but before you make the approval to purchase equipment, make sure that it's NFPA compliant, that it's, and you're not just wasting money and finding yourself in this position to where you find out, oh, the equipment is non-compliant, they can't use it, therefore it has to be reimbursed. I think Trevor, if he were here, would agree that it's valid to have a committee established of your choosing to sit down and review these purchases.
We did discuss at the fire tax meeting about doing a committee. I don't know who the right people are to be on there at this point, but I think it would be beneficial to have that, because I mean, I don't know what their background knowledge is on the particulars with like this helmet situation, but I'm assuming there's some people in the community that have been around this stuff long enough that can sit and work as good teammates with them to maybe address some of those things. But we haven't discussed any more of that since that took place. But I guess that kind of raised a question there, made me think of something like, if Justin would decide to continue using that helmet, and are we okay like with the township as far as like workers' comp? I'm just saying, like, say something falls and hits him in the head, there's an injury, nothing's going to come back on Wdwrd Township because that helmet wasn't NFPA.
I would encourage you to investigate that, because if it's a non-compliant piece of equipment that is being used in the performance of their duties, you as the township that's paying the workers' compensation are going to be held liable for that, because they are considered employees of the township.
Is there a way we can, like, you
Does
know?
that just need a liner or what, Mike?
No, it meets OSHA requirements. It has right in it, it's OSHA compliant, it's not NFPA. The helmet is not being used. So I can take you and show you right now, right where I laid it 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I'm okay with them using it if there's no repercussions on the township, that in the event a freak accident would happen, that somehow, I don't know, the township could be held liable because we allowed that helmet to be used. I don't know, I'm just saying, I don't.
Can you get a hold of our workman's comp carrier and ask them if we're okay with an OSHA-approved helmet?
I make it clear that it's not NFPA, is that what you said?
It's not NFPA.
They need to know that.
It's a 5A, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have a problem with
If
using
they
the
don't have a
helmet.
problem, I don't care what he does.
Yeah, as
It's
long
his
as-
helmet, I don't care what he does with it to begin with.
As long as there's nothing that can come back on us for
But
whatever,
at the end of the day, if you read the state statutes, the township is responsible for ensuring fire protection services within the township. That puts a large liability upon the township. In essence, you have oversight of whoever you choose as the fire emergency service provider, and therefore, you need to make sure that they are using the correct equipment to alleviate that liability.
My recommendation would be that you tend towards the side of caution
Yeah.
and only use the ones that are both approved.
You're saying it's not being used right
It's not
now,
being used.
so I'd maybe just wait
He
until.
refuses to
Because
use
I
it,
can
so-
tell you right now, knowing my profession, there is somebody out there who will make it an issue if they have to bring a lawsuit.
I think I did that in writing,
Yeah,
so you have something to fall back on,
Yeah.
not verbal.
That's what I mean, if the workman's comp carrier is fine with it, I don't have a problem with it, you?
I don't know if they're okay.
You know, and if they are just, if not, he's got a flower pot.
okay. Anything else before we move on?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Eric?
Couple things. So just so everybody knows, you know, you made a big deal over a $80 a week raise, you know. I mean, I really don't see the huge thing there. You know, the person does 2 jobs, they go out and they get manholes and everything else. So, you know, whatever you want to do, you know, hope you feel better about yourself. You beat somebody out of $80. The other thing I'm going to ask, so this is a public meeting, have you trained the sewer authority, the sewer employees on confined space entry?
They do not have their training for that?
You don't have confined space?
I've had it numerous times, yes, but it's not up to date.
So that means they don't go in manholes. So, you know, we made the big deal about $2 an hour.
Said it expired or something.
Confined space entry is training that they have to have, I want to say every 2 years maybe they have to be updated on that. They have to get fit, somebody has to get fitted for a respirator. There's a whole line of things that they have to have. It goes right along with testing the oxygen before they go down in a manhole. The person that goes into the manhole has to have a rescue harness, and they have to have the tripod there and everything else. Should the person be overcome, you don't go down in and get killed with the other person. So I would advise you all to get your workers trained in confined space entry.
I believe we did tell you to get the harness and the stuff.
Yeah, we have one.
But they're not trained.
Talk with Alicia and see about research and figure out whatever you guys gotta do to set that up and get it taken care of. So,
Because at this point, when we took over, nobody said what dates trainings ran out or anything for us that I'm aware of. Do you?
no,
Nobody brought to us when their trainings ran out.
It is a requirement. I certified individuals in the military. There is a refresher course that you have to take from OSHA, be certified to go in. Because OSHA will come out, if they even see you break the plane of the manhole, they will issue a fine, and it is a hefty fine. I've seen it. If they break the plane, if a manhole, if you just reach your hand in and you are not trained or certified, they will issue a fine.
Brings the plate.
Plate, showing up the
yeah, Mike,
Plane.
Plane.
P-L-A-N-E, yeah, plane. Yeah.
Gotcha, thanks.
Eric, do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
Julie? Anything?
Can't see my smile? The only thing I have to say is, I wish every meeting had this many and more attending. People don't understand what goes on and how the money is spent. They have a voice. They don't just have to use their voice in November at election time. They need to come to the meetings and ask questions and see what goes on, and I'm happy to see this many people. I used to go to the sewer authority meetings too. I sat with Dave one. But it is the same people. It's kind of sad, you know. I don't know if every township's going through that, but, you know, to me it's very important, and I wish we had more people.
Yeah. Well, hopefully things will keep on the incline with it. But it's not easy right now with the virus stuff going on. Some people are avoiding, but I mean, it's not fully the case here. Because if you were coming to meetings prior to this stuff happening, you know, it's still the same 6, 7 people, so. Anybody else from the floor?
With your safety training, you might want to contact Dave Remick.
Dave Romick? Remick?
Mike Remick.
Oh, okay.
Dave.
Yep,
He does the safety training for our company,
okay. For the confined space,
everything.
okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, police report, chief?
For the month of June, it was total 50 traffic stops with 34 citations issued, 5 criminal arrests, 8 written warnings, 8 verbal warnings, no motor vehicle accident, 190 calls for service with 54 follow-ups, which is 244 calls.
Fire company report?
Yeah, for the month of April, 26 calls. For May, we had 16, and for June, we had 16.
Okay. For zoning permits, we have $126 total for zoning permits, $10 for excavation and no burning permits, so our total income for zoning permits is $136. We do have to break off for one more quick executive session. It's only going to be a few minutes, so after that, we'll just be coming back to adjourn. So if you want to leave,
Personnel matter.
personnel matter. So if you want to leave, you're welcome to. If not, we'll only be a few minutes this time. So I have a motion to adjourn or step away for executive. Roll call, Wayne, John, and myself, aye.
So they're just adjourning then, right?
I ate
I'm gonna kill her.